Coming up, the Armis Knife and Tool VSK1, a brand new luxury Pikal folder from DC Blades, and amazing EDC fixed blade knives and how to wear them. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. I had a couple of favorite comments this week. First one from Joseph Vincent 4629, and this was on the T.Kell interview. He says, "Tim, you are the best, and I know you work so freaking hard to get your knives to us as fast as you can. I just got my Agent 001 double edged. Stay strong." God bless. Well, this is the knife, and thank you so much, Joseph Vincent, for getting that knife. And I say that as the co-designer on this knife. And yes, Tim does work very hard to get those knives out to people. I know people get frustrated when you can't just order a knife and have it show up in 3 days, but that's the nature of a small custom knife business. But he does a pretty damn good job. So thanks for that comment. And then another great one from RNK Mode 1876. This was on the Station 9 Knives short. He said, "The last two knives are sweet. The number 8 survival knife looks like what I'd imagine a Demko Armiger 6 would be if it existed. LOL. Dude, you have a ridiculously huge, awesome collection of knives." Well, I have that knife right here, and this is the number 8 Sear, and I do see a family resemblance, but I think that the Armiger would have a slightly different swedge and a different blade shape. But I'm with you. I hear you. And this one is very cool. If you can get your hands on one, I highly, highly recommend it. That's 1095 blade steel, by the way. So super tough, ready for action. Thank you one and all for your comments this week. It's greatly appreciated. Let me put this back in the sheath before I hurt someone, and that someone is me. That said, let's get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
On me today, as was the entire weekend behind me, I had the Civivi Synergy 4 on me, that beautiful 4-inch Tonto blade with that upsweep. Though the whole thing canted down, still puts that point near center line, just slightly above. And that is a gorgeous 4-inch blade. And I love the concentric circles radiating off of the pivot on this one. It has great grip. Now, I had this in my pocket all weekend because I traveled to Baltimore for a girls' volleyball tournament. I wasn't playing, but my daughter was. It was a loud affair, man. Every single point that is scored gets a lot of screaming. And there were 100 courts there, several hundred teams. It was loud and crazy. But I had this on me because I had to look up Baltimore knife laws before I went down there. I used the app that Knife Rights puts out called Legal Blade, and checked out what I could carry. The only thing I could carry concealed was a folder, so I made sure it was a big, lovely, robust folder, but one that if I had it taken away for whatever reason, it wouldn't break my heart. Though I do love this knife. I wasn't looking forward to anything like that. This is what I had on me. It's kind of like when you travel to Blade Show and you bring something that you don't mind if TSA nicks. Well, you'd mind, but you know what I'm saying. All right, next up in my back left pocket, I had the awesome Jack Wolf Knives After Hour Jack. I've been carrying this one all the time, just like when the first version of the After Hours Jack came out. Mine is the all black version. I carried that thing religiously. Even after I got my new Jack Wolf knife, I still carried that one all the time. This one I love, especially with that dark matter red carbon fiber next to the dark washed titanium bolster. This is just a great knife. S90V blade steel. There's a new one on its way to me. and it's from the new line. I haven't really checked out what it is. I kind of like the surprise at this point, but had that on me, and I used that as a food prep knife today, which you wouldn't expect from the shape of the blade. My fixed blade knife today at 3 o'clock in the waistband was the beautiful and ever loyal, that's the word I was looking for, Kramer Custom Voodoo. I haven't carried this one in quite some time. I have so many choices, and that's because I'm lucky and somewhat irresponsible sometimes, or I have been in the past. I've got a lot of knives, and this one was one of the first I carried on a regular basis as an EDC blade. See, I interview these awesome makers like this. When I interviewed for Kramer Custom Knives here, I got this and I carried it all the time. And then I interviewed someone else and I got one of their knives and I carried that all the time. So Eric Kramer of Kramer Custom Knives has been making them for a long time. He's been working on folders of this same profile, and man alive, are they beautiful. But today I figured I'd bust this out. The Voodoo, he calls a Persian. I call it a clip point or a Bowie. I had him double edge this, and it's nice and thin and just carries really excellently. I have put it appendix in the past, but I do prefer this one right over here at 3 o'clock. So that's what I had on me. And then my emotional support knife today was one I've been carrying quite a bit for emotional support. The Station 9 number 12. This is called the Undercover, a beautiful double-edged Persian-y knife. Some might call it a Pakal. It kind of looks Pakal-ish with the serrations on the back of the blade. You could do damage coming and going, and I just like this one a lot. Now I have it set up for front scout carry with this DCC double pocket clip, used more for pistol holsters, I believe, but it rides nicely right up front, left of the belt or right of the belt buckle. But I didn't have it on me today. This one goes nicely in the bag, and so I had it close at hand. What a beautiful little portrait we have there. This is what I had on me today. What did you have on you? Do drop it down in the comments below and let me know. I like to get that sort of inspiration from your carry. All right, well, let's do that. And we'll get on to Knife Life news in a second. But before we do, I want to urge you or suggest that if you want to help support this show, if you like this kind of content, knife content, you can go to Patreon. You can scan the QR code on your screen right here, or you can go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and check out what we have to offer. I'll read that long, complicated address again. That's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon.
Hey, knife makers. Tired of paying too much for your online store? LaunchCard gives you everything you need for just $27 a month. Sell as many blades as you want with our drag and drop store builder. No tech skills needed. You get all the good stuff. Secure checkout, back in stock alerts, and easy product reviews to show off your happy customers. Plus, your store looks great on phones and computers. Already using Shopify? Knife makers are switching to LaunchCard because it just works better. Try it free for 14 days at TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch. That's TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. And now here's the Knife Junkie with the Knife Life news.
LaunchCart works better, and it's American, unlike Shopify. All right, next up, Knife Life news. We have a couple from K-Bar and a couple from Boker. Let's get to them. First one is from K-Bar. It's the Apex fixed blade, and this is a beauty, I gotta say. It's kind of an outdoor knife, but I think it would flex easily into the tactical. You know, I kind of always think that way. Look at this thing. It's a handsome knife. We've got an elongated D2 clip point blade. That's a 4-inch blade, 3.96 if you really care. And then it's got the GFN handles with that sort of bracketed design. So a little more slender towards the ricasso and the pommel, and then fattens out in the center. It looks a little angular, but just speaking from experience, angular knives sometimes feel great. Think of the Cyborg Jack, for instance, or the 0055 from ZT. This one also comes in a GFN sheath with a good deal of lashing options. And it is from collaborator Peter Janda or Janda. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Janda. Hopefully, I haven't totally butchered your name, Peter, but he is a frequent contributor to K-Bar knife design since 2007. So a really fine looking knife. I got to say, this one reminds me a little bit of Poltergeist Bladeworks designs, just a little. But I find it very fetching, and it actually fits in with today's topic of conversation, great EDC fixed blades, because this one being at about 4 inches is ideal for that purpose. All right, next up, these two are from K-Bar as well. These are the Dust series. We have the Dust 1 and the Dust 2. Some rugged outdoor fixed blade knives, also quite handsome, with the same setup with materials. First, the Dust 1 has a 6.125 or 6th and an 1/8 inch, if you speak English, straight back D2, very tactical looking knife with a swedge, almost a Quaken if you ask me, but it's got a perfectly straight back. It's not sweeping up at all. Very nice looking knife. I love the look of that long swedge. It will make for a great penetrator. And then this one has a finger guard dipping down right in front of that sharpening choil. So stopping the forefinger from sliding up on the blade. Nothing in terms of a guard on the top side, which allows for that Filipino grip very easily. So you can have that thumb on the spine of the handle or spine of the blade without having to negotiate a guard. I like that very much. I also like the color of that GFN handle. And then it's got a little bit of a noggin knocker there, that pointy sort of persuader on the back. All of these things together, the swedge, the guard, the pointy pommel, make me believe that this, along with its 6 and 1/8 inch length, is a bit more of a tactical knife here. But the second in the Dust series, the Dust 2, has a 5 1/4 inch blade, no guard, no skull crusher, if you will, and a full flat grind without a swedge. So this one is more of an outdoors knife. This one is more of a general utility knife. And as Ben Schwartz of Knife News states, it does resemble slightly a Puko, which we know as a Northern European Nordic style utility outdoors knife. This one also has the GFN handle and the GFN sheath, or glass reinforced nylon sheath. So I'm liking the look of, especially the Dust 1 with that swedge guard and the pointy pommel. Though, for me, on a tactical knife, you don't want it too pointy back there because you might want to use it in reverse grip, in which case you want to put your thumb and cap the pommel there. If it's pointy, that's uncomfortable. But two from K-Bar, that's the Apex, the Dust 1, and the Dust 2. Now on to Boker. These are all recent releases or recent announced releases coming from SHOT Show. Boker, every year they put out a collection piece or a collection knife. I believe last year it was with the steel harvested from various tanks from World War II. Well, this one, the 2025 collection knife, is from Thierry Savadan. Now, I follow this guy on Instagram, but I've never, this is the designer's name, I've never actually said his name out loud. And I don't know if it's Terry, it's Thierry, or if it's Theory, the way it looks. Last name Savadan, Savidan. Anyway, he is a high-end custom knife maker, and this is a high-end collection Boker. You have 3.38 inches of Magna Cut blade steel on that broad drop point. A pretty elegant looking knife here with a long spine-following fuller. So long fuller all the way up to the tip, so you can be using that middle finger to flick the sucker open at pretty much any spot on that blade. where it's available. It has a very subtle spine, I'm sorry, not spine, but edge side flipper. So just a regular flipper. It's just pretty hard to see as it's pretty small. And titanium bolsters, extending almost a third of that handle with marbled carbon fiber. And then blue anodized hardware. You see it on the body screws, you see it on the clip screws, and you also see it as a collar around the pivot. So very nice looking knife. This one's coming in at 5.64 ounces and will be available on Valentine's Day. So ladies, if you're listening to this, which you probably aren't, but if you are and you want to get your man something for Valentine's Day, a special knife, check out this Boker 2025 collection knife, because that's the day it drops. All right, lastly, this one is also from Boker, and it's something that we've kind of never seen before. At least I haven't, and I challenge you to tell me if you've ever seen a knife on which you can change the liner lock from side to side. No? Yeah, me neither. This is from Boker and Chuck Gedraitis, one of the greatest custom folder makers out there right now. He comes from the New England school of knife making. He's up in Massachusetts and makes some really outstanding, gorgeous sculptural things. He's also the maker of the Victorinox-esque flippers, or automatic knives. So the switch army knives, as he calls them. This one is called the Lefty. Yes, the Lefty. And that's because you can change that liner lock that you see right there to the left side for left-handed carriers. This is a stout 2.2 inches of 12 C28N. It's kind of a Wharncliffe, bellied Wharncliffe, you might call it, with a swedge. This opens up with a thumb stud. You've got aluminum handles with a full four-finger grip, I'm told. And then, as you can see, you can switch the pocket clip from side to side. But the real USP, the unique selling proposition of this knife, is that swappable liner lock. That's really interesting. One screw can do it, by the way. One screw, and you can switch that liner lock. This one is available soon. I'm not sure what that means, but keep your eyes peeled if this tickles your fancy. I really like the idea of a fully ambidextrous liner lock. So, you not only have the ambidextrous thumb studs there, you can not only switch the pocket clip, but you can switch the damn liners. How cool is that? Leave it to Chuck Gedraitis to figure that out. All right, still to come on the Knife Junkie podcast, the state of the collection, where we have some very, very cool stuff. But be sure that you like and comment and subscribe and download this show to your favorite podcast app. You can see them all right here. We're on all of them. Another great way to help support the show, if you can't do Patreon, is to send it along to someone else. Share the show. You have no idea how great that little gesture is. So like, notify, subscribe, and share. All right, coming up, we have the state of the collection.
Adventure Delivered, your monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor, survival, EDC, and other cool gear from our expert team of outdoor professionals. TheKnifeJunkie.com/BattleBox.
And now that we're caught up with Knife Life news, let's hear more of the Knife Junkie podcast.
So, coming to me from Armis Knife and Tool, I am so excited to feature this. This is the VSK-1. The VSK-1. We are going to have Michael, the designer of this and maker of this, on the show soon, but he sent me this so I could check out some of his work. Now, this was a company and a knife that was, that was referred to me by Dave at OG Blade Reviews, and I'm so happy he hit me to this because it is so great. I love it. So first, you see a very ambidextrous sheath, which is rare for a fixed blade knife, and then you see this gorgeous thing here. So this is the Armis Knife and Tool VSK-1, and it is optimized, if you ask me, for reverse grip. It is extremely comfortable in both grips. which is, I don't want to say odd, but somewhat unexpected from a two-finger partition style handle. These don't always work for me, but this one really works for me. So you got the forefinger and the middle finger in that opening well here, and then the other two fingers in the back. You have a great thumb ramp and a spear point blade with a what do you call that? Saber ground blade. That's S35VN. And then in reverse grip, you have this awesome thumb spot here. So you can cap the pommel on that large thumb plate. That's not a thumb plate. What is that? A platform, we'll call it. And it just feels great in hand. Now here is the Armis Knife and Tool logo there. You can see the grinder marks on there. This is 100% American made and very comfortable to carry. Now, when I first got it, I was trying to put this sheath in my waistband. It's no secret. I've been talking about it for weeks. I overdid it at Christmas, and now I'm trying to lose the little extra I put on. So there's not too much that is too wide going into the waistband these days. And this is a somewhat wide sheath. It's one of those ambidextrous in the pocket sheaths. And that's what I realized. This one is optimized for in the pocket. And I have to say, it is very comfortable in that spot. It goes great in my front right pocket. And I was thinking it would only work in jeans. But today I had khakis on. I tried it in my khaki pants, with the vertical pocket openings, and it worked great. It didn't stick out. Usually that's the problem. It'll stick far out of the pocket, leaving the handle coming out like this. This, not so much. It rode really nicely and thinly. I didn't carry it all day today in the front right pocket, but I did all last week after I got it. You saw this on Thursday Night Knives last week. And yeah, this thing just fits great. I love this blade. It feels great in hand, carries nicely, has a wicked blade. It's pretty nice and thick. I'm going to say that's maybe 3/16 of an inch, but we will find out here when I have Michael Grasso on to talk about it. He's the gentleman who runs and started this company, and I'm really excited to talk to him. The VSK1, there's also a VSK Mini, and then as you can see, the clip here is a DCC clip, discrete carry concepts. Something I want to actually point out here is right in the throat of the sheath, you can see it's padded. It's got the soft side of hook and loop, and it's very, very, or Velcro, I should say. It's very soft coming in and out of the sheath. Love this. So another very interesting thing that they sell there is this sheath. Now, this is a paring knife sheath, and this is for the traveling gentleman or lady who likes to carry a fixed blade knife but can't travel or carry something like this. So really what you're buying is the sheath. And then you go to any grocery store and pick up a cheap paring knife, and this one was sent to me by Armis Knife and Tool, and pretty much any one of these kind of cheap paring knives will fit in there. So you can drop this in the pocket, have a knife, but you don't have to travel with it. You can go to the next place and get a new one. So here, this I bought for the kitchen at work a long time ago. Just put a screaming edge on it again. But this one fits in there. I checked out the paring knives in our kitchen. The only one that doesn't fit in there is the is our Steve Kalari Custom Knives one. It's got too wide a handle. Sorry, guys, late night here. But the Kai paring knife I have works. This one that they sent works. This random one that I got for work works. So it's a really great way to travel and have a fixed blade knife without necessarily having to travel with the knife. You just go to any grocery store, get a paring knife, boom, pop it in there. This one also has that Velcro in the throat of the sheath, and it just gives it a quiet little cushion. And say if it doesn't, so these two have a different width in the handle. The one on the bottom that was sent to me fits snugly. The one on the top fits a little more loosely, but that Velcro kind of pads it and makes it a good fit. Also a deep DCC pocket clip here and that awesome topographical G10. I love the way that looks. So great idea from Armis Knife and Tool. It's a travel sheath. You buy the sheath, I believe it's $45, and you always have a great place to put a knife and no excuse not to have a knife on you. That's what I say. Lastly, sent to me from them, is this Sharp E. Yes, it's a Sharpie with the G10 point. So it's a sharpened G10 point in what looks to me like a nicely used Sharpie. It doesn't have any of the writing on the side. I have plenty of Sharpies like that I've thrown in my bag and that writing has worn off. Well, this one you can stab with. It's a self-defense, last-ditch self-defense tool that might get past security. Who knows? Might not. I've heard that some TSA agents have gotten wise to these things, and so they look at Sharpies. But I've gotten through TSA with my Revenant Core version of this tool. This is something that's been being made by various people for some time, and I really like it. It's a great idea. You take a rod of G10, remove the felt point of the Sharpie, and sharpen that G10 and insert it in there, and use it to defend yourself. So thank you so much to Armis Knife and Tool for sending me these things. They are so cool. I cannot wait to talk to Michael about these things and find out what his plans are for the future. But so far, I've been really, really digging this VSK1. All right, last up for Knife Life News. This is another beauty that was just sent to me by Justin of DC Blades. Feast your eyes, people. This is the DC Blades Vendetta. And it is a folding Pakal style knife, but a luxury version thereof. You've got a beautiful micro milled titanium handle here. It is a frame lock, and then beautiful inlays of this aluminum foil carbon fiber, not only on the show side, but on the lock side. You have a removable wave type feature. If you don't want to use that front flipper, which is, to me, optimized for the forefinger, opens up so nicely. And then you have this wave opening feature that removes with a screw there, and a beautiful hawkbill blade of M390 blade steel. And that's why I say luxury. You got titanium, you got M390, you've got those beautiful inlays, and oh my God, the ergonomics on this thing just feel amazing. If I were in a self-defense situation, I had this, I might tuck it away so it doesn't get taken from me and use something else. I don't know, pick up a rock or something, because this is too nice. I love it. I love the jimping on the back of the blade. Now, you get a little bit more engagement there if you remove this, but even so, with that wave opener, the thumb fits so nicely in there. If you're just going to use it for regular tasks, you put your forefinger there, open up boxes all day long, but heaven forbid you actually need it. You draw it out with the pocket, pocket catch here, and it opens it, and you have it in hand. Really, really awesome. Now, if you don't know DC Blades, you know DC Blades. They're the guys who did the Rev with Shieldon and Auxiliary Manufacturing, and then they did the Pocket Scythe with Shieldon. That's same company. It's Justin from Tier 1 Gear Reviews and Old Squirrel Knives. custom knife maker, Old Squirrel Knives. Well, they are the dynamic duo that are DC Blades, and this is their latest release. You can go to dcblades.net and buy you one of these. They have 4 different configurations. This one, and then this one with a satin blade, and then I don't remember what the other 2 are, honestly. I think the inlays are different, but it is awesome, super stout, and very, very beautiful. The DC Blades Vendetta. Check it out. All right, I'm going to set this aside and let you know that Jim has been back in his lab creating more great fashion for us to wear. Don't take dull for an answer. I love that line. Well, look at this. This is a t-shirt he just created with a beautiful clip point there, double guard clip point with "Don't take dull for an answer." You can go to theknifejunkie.com/shop and check out all of the great merchandise we have to offer there, including pages of these great designs coming from the mind of Jim, the man behind the switcher. So go to theknifejunkie.com/shop and check those out. Also, subscribe. All right, so let me take a little nip of this. I say nip, it's water. I wish it were a nip. I could use one today. All right, we're going to talk about some amazing EDC fixed blade knives and how to wear them. I say wear because carry, there are lots of ways to carry a knife, but you have to wear them also. So I have basically 3 different ways outlined here. First one is front scout. That's what I'm calling sideways on the front of your belt, as opposed to sideways in the back. That's called scout carry, when you carry it sideways on the back. Well, sideways on the back does not work for me for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you get swept to the ground and you're fighting, say you're fighting, heaven forbid, well, that thing is on your back. It's very hard to reach, and it's digging into your lower spine. Just doesn't seem like a great way to carry a knife. And you might say, well, the Vikings carried it there. And yes, they did, but they had much larger knives. Their saxes were bigger. If they were on the ground, they could reach it, probably. Not only that, but they dangled. We are not talking about danglers here. So the first knife I'm going to show you here that rides front scout, and I carry it all the time, is the T.Kell Knives Agent 001. My design collaboration with T.Kell. I came to him with an idea for a knife that is similar to a Loveless sub-hilt fighter blade. So kind of a clip point, kind of drop point, but also double-edged with a bayonet grind. And I sent him this blade design. He said, I'm not sure if I can do that. And then, of course, he managed to pull it off. It was this curve up to that tip, which was the issue. And then he and I worked together on this handle to create the perfect grip. I got to say, I know I'm biased, but this is one of the most comfortable handles you will ever hold. This, of course, with that beautiful purple burl G10. But let's talk about the sheath. T.Kell knives are known for their slender line sheaths that are about the width of a belt, and this is no exception. Here I have that double DCC clip on there, the one that you saw on the Station 9 knife earlier. And when I carry this, if I'm wearing a leather belt, this just goes right over the belt. If I'm wearing a thin nylon belt or no belt at all, which is very rare, it goes and latches on the inside of the pants. So it just depends, but it's a very, very secure ride. And if you're looking down, pretend that your belly is right here, or your six-pack abs are right here. You're looking down, this is what you see. And it's the belt buckle rides right to the left of it. And when you draw it, you're drawing it in this reverse grip. You can always draw it in reverse grip and reorient to use it like a in this forward grip. But I have it set up for right hand reverse grip draw or left hand standard draw. And that works for me. Your mileage may vary. You can always just turn it around and use it. But I have lately been liking this style of carry the most, that front scout carry. I'll show you one of the knives that really got me into carrying Front Scout, and that is this. This is the 302 from Aaron Bieber Knives, or AB Knives. And it is so light and so beautiful that, well, the beauty doesn't have to do with this, but it's so light and kind of compact that you can carry this horizontally on the front of your belt and kind of forget it's there until you need it. But I have it set up so that it's reverse draw as well. But look at this thing. Stunning, stunning knife. You've got a hand ground clip point blade. I don't know, sax blade. It's kind of hard to tell what this is, but you do have a hollow ground swedge there. So I'm going to say it's a clip point. Very, very sharp. This is Magna Cut blade steel, and you have that Tsukamaki wrap. Aaron Bieber does an amazing job with his Japanese wrapped handles. That is genuine ray skin under there, and you have a perfect grip. The grip is so nice on this. This is one of those knives where it's almost more comfortable to have it in hand than not. I'm going to show it to you like this, so you can see those alternating peaks and valleys that you get with a Tsukamaki wrap, especially when done like this. But don't worry, those laces are not going to come loose. These are impregnated with epoxy. So really, really nice. And then a very nice thin line taco sheath with that carbon fiber look, kydex, and a belt loop. So two different ways to carry it horizontally here. You've got the belt loop and you've got the clip. I do carry some other T.Kell knives horizontally, and some other knives in general, with the plastic clip that you generally see on pistols, pistol holsters, but in this case, they work great on knife sheaths. All right, last one from this category, the Front Scout category. This is on the larger side of what I'm comfortable carrying that way. This is the Civivi Tomashi E, designed by Bob Terzuola. So a very Japanese-inspired blade here, kind of a Quaken-style blade, also sort of a bayonet grind without a sharp back, but you have a long swedge and then extra jimping on the blade for when you want to reach forward like this. Or you have the jimping here on this beautifully sandwiched micarta handle there. So you can carry it or use it, deploy it just as easily here with that sort of saber grip, or come up to a Filipino grip and put some more power behind the cutting there. As ships from Civivi, it comes with this nice kydex sheath. This is a pancake sheath, meaning you have grommets on both sides, as opposed to a taco sheath, where the grommets are only on one and it's folded over. Here I have a very old in the waistband rubber strap here that keeps it really close to the belt. And this one is nice and light. And though it's longer than both of the previous blades here, especially with the handle, it really rides nicely. So I have a couple of Civivi and Sencut fixed blade knives that I like to carry in this fashion. But this is my favorite of all of them, the Bob Terzuola Tomashi E. I do not have any other Terzuolas, be they custom or production. This is the one and only. And of course, I'd like to increase that count. All right, I'm going to put these aside and we will come to the next style of carry here. And this is in the waistband. And these are, you're going to see the most knives in this category because this is how I carry most often. Though lately it's been a lot of Front Scout. Over the years, it's been in the waistband the most. The first one, I don't carry like this too often. Sometimes it will be a new knife, a new fixed blade knife, and I'll try it out in this fashion, and then I'll end up migrating to a different way of carrying. But this is in the waistband with a cord. So this here is the CRKT Obaki. This is designed by, what's his name? Yeah, Burnley, Lucas Burnley. Sorry, I just had a little senior moment there. Lucas Burnley is known for, for working with CRKT and Boker, and he's got a lot of knives with them. But he's also known for his Japanese-inspired designs, and this Obaki is chief among them, I'll say. Again, you have that beautifully epoxy and laced Sukamaki wrap with the alternating peaks and valleys looking from one side to the other, which gives amazing grip, whether flat like this or in a standard grip. The fat of your hand just sinks into those valleys and you get amazing purchase. Now, I am not sure if that's genuine ray skin under there. I'm guessing it's not, just due to the high value of this knife in terms of cost. This has 14C 28N blade steel and a nice hollow grind and that upsweep, though the belly, the continuous belly of the edge makes it look like it's sweeping up and like the tip is higher than the back of that straight spine, but it is not. It is a perfectly straight spine and just a great, great carry. Very easy to carry. If you want to start carrying fixed blade knives and don't know where to start because it's a little bit too much for you, try this knife. You can easily carry it as a neck knife, but I prefer it. You take this part of the cord and wrap it in your belt or through a belt loop, and then you put this in your waistband, just loosely in your waistband up front. And then when you need it, you tug the handle. This comes out and kind of dangles by your side. You use the knife however you need to use it, and then you resheath it and then put this back in your waistband, and it just sort of friction fits in the waistband. But it will never fall off you completely because it is lassoed to your belt or belt loop. So this is the one knife that I have that I consistently carry this way. If I'm carrying this knife, which I haven't in a little while, but when I do, it's always like this. Other knives come and go. Like, for instance, when I first got the number 12, I was carrying it like that. It was a little too uncomfortable with that square sheath to do so like that, so I had to put it on the outside. But I always kind of first try out a knife this way. All right, next up in the waistband, this is dedicated appendix carry. And you'll see from looking at the sheath and looking at the shape of the knife, it's sort of shaped like a revolver. So this goes great in the appendix. And say you've got a little bit of extra belly there, it goes nicely right there over the top. You don't have it poking up into the soft regions. This one has the DCC style clip. And it also has, some of these clips have elongated notches, so you can kind of move it and reorient the clip in such a way that it makes it easier to carry in certain circumstances. This one I find incredibly, this is my most comfortable appendix carry. The next one I show that's appendix carry is also quite comfortable and has a very different profile. So you'll see what I mean there. But this knife is set up like this. The Regiment Blades Low Vis. And your finger goes through that back notch. I'm sorry, this forward notch here, or hole. And it's got great jimping for the thumb. And you thrust with it, stab with it, and you don't have to reorient your wrist at all or your fist. It is optimized for a punch. So it's kind of, I'm going to come to this main camera. It's kind of like a push dagger, except it's not, the blade isn't protruding from between your fingers. It's not a T-shaped handle. It's just a sort of pistol grip handle. You can back it up with the other fist, your other hand, to keep that live hand out of the way. But you can get a lot of power in that punch there. And it draws real easily. You just lift it out of the waistband, bang, bang. Comes out so easily, and it's very easy to grab as well with the shape of the handle. And a nice part about that hole is that the entire hole is presented. So as you're drawing, your waistband here is right here. And as you're drawing the knife, you can immediately go to your hand posture. Here, I'm going to come up here again. So here's your belt. My hand is your belt. You just come up like this. Boom. Tug it out with that. And there you got it. Right in hand. So it's like a perfect appendix draw knife. And those of you who are carry pistols and carry it in that appendix placement there, this will come to you very, very easily. And you might say, well, why would I carry that if I'm carrying my pistol? Well, you can't always have your gun on you. But if you are going somewhere where you need to carry a knife, you can't have your gun. This is a great replacement because it's a motion you're already used to drawing. So go for it that way. And then you can put a lot of power behind that strike due to the shape of the handle. Next up, I prefer this one in appendix carry as well. This is the Pocket Rocket from Auxiliary Manufacturing. And it is a great knife, period, but great for self-defense and great for appendix carry. Now, it's very, very different. You look at this and you say, hey, Bob, you said this one was comfortable because of that curved handle. Well, what gives, man? That's a totally straight handle. And I know, but it, you know, that line, figure your belly comes in like this, and eventually it ends up into your crotch like this. Well, this straight handle and straight sheath follows that line perfectly, the fold of your inner hip. And so you can have this up front like this, riding in your inner hip, and then you pull it out and you have a perfect reverse grip on a 3-inch dagger here. What allows that is this excellent handle design. No matter how you turn it, you have choils and facets and choils and facets and places for your hand and your the fat of your fingers to bury in there. Doesn't matter if you grab it sideways accidentally or have it perfectly oriented. There's always a grip with this handle. You get a great grip no matter where you grab it. Even diagonally in hand, it works. I'm a huge fan of this knife. I love Michael Jarvis's designs and his handmade knives. They're just outstanding. This one right now, I don't think he's made this one for a little while. But I think he may have mentioned on one of our interviews that someone might be making this for him in the near future. So keep your eyes peeled for a Pocket Rocket. But hopefully I haven't said too much. Very, very sharp. He does expert. His bevels are amazing. They're all hand done, but he just has a great hand. And I love this one for appendix in the waistband carry. Now, two others, just like I was telling you about the Kramer custom Voodoo that I carried today at 3 o'clock. I'm just more comfortable with this in the 3 o'clock position. That was the original in the waistband. That's actually not true. I used to carry it all the way around the back, but I stopped doing that a long time ago. I love the 3 o'clock carry, especially for the larger knives. Now, if you look down and your belly button is 12 o'clock, obviously your right hip is 3 o'clock, your left hip is 9 o'clock. The smaller your back is 6 o'clock, and you can figure all the rest out. Well, this one here, this is the Cave Bear, a custom knife by Dirk Pinkerton. It's a Pikal or a Persian. You decide. I'll call it a Pikal. This fits perfectly in the 3 o'clock position. It's also not so much of a slouch due to this curve here in the appendix, but I rarely carry it there. This one is one of the few I have an ulti clip on. I just happened to buy this at Blade Show for this knife, so I've always left it on there. But here's the knife, a really outstanding, talk about someone who knows how to grind. This is a hand-done knife by Dirk Pinkerton. We know him. He's very, very popular for his designs made by big companies, especially with the folders. But his handmade custom fixed blades are just superlative. And this one is no exception. I love it though in that 3 o'clock because it's a little bit larger. The ones that are too big in the appendix, you're starting to poke when you sit down, and that's not a comfortable poke. So you want it over on the side, and you can kind of hide the length of it along your body, and it's much more comfortable like that. This one, double-edged Nitro V coated, and it's got that very cheerful handle. I like the cheerful color of this. Our eyes met across a crowded room at Blade Show 2021, I think. And man, I couldn't wait to buy this. I thought someone was going to get it before I got to the table, so I made a beeline. It is a beaut. But the sheath itself also really lends itself to in the waistband carry because it's a flat pancake sheath, and it just fits really nicely against the body. And then the curves, whether they're the convex or the concave curves, just fit the curves of the human body very well. And then you have this nice extension on both sides of the throat of the sheath that just sort of give you a little bit of a hedge against poking or slashing accidentally the love handles if they happen to be there. You know what I mean? So you got that little bit of extra protection there. And I do appreciate that. All right, last up for the in the waistband, we're going to talk about one I talk about quite a bit. This is the Hogtooth Knives Ruffian. And it's a perfect knife for 3 o'clock. Perfect for the 3 o'clock position because it is on the large side of what I will carry in the waistband or EDC fixed blade at all. It's got a somewhat, I don't want to say thick handle, but it's got a girthy handle. I guess that's the same thing. And but the scalloped pattern here, the sort of Anzo pattern on half of it, reduces the weight and also gives great gription here. And then it terminates as you get towards the pommel. This one, by the way, all of my 3 o'clock carry knives I have set up for this reverse grip. So as I draw it, it's going to be in reverse grip like this. However, if you do it, here, let me see how I can do this. If you reach like this in a cavalry draw, cavalry draw, that refers to how cavalry would carry their pistols with the handle forward like that. It's easier to draw it in standard grip like this than it is if it were up and down and you're pulling your pistol out like this or your knife out like this. And if you're just listening, I don't even know how to describe it, but if you have it in a standard grip, just the way your hand falls, you have to pull up very high to clear the sheath. So if you have it canted forward and just have it so that the back of your hand grazes against your body and grips that handle, you can draw it in a standard grip and have it ready to go. We're not always wanting to draw a knife in that reverse grip. We're not always charging into battle where we need this sort of reverse grip. Sometimes you just need to cut a piece of string, and so you want to draw it like this. So cavalry draw works great for 3 o'clock and all sorts of knives. So these are my favorite. I'm not going to say my favorite knives, but this is probably my favorite way of carrying across history. Though recently that front scout has taken some precedence. Okay, last in this version, in this list here, are the pocket carry fixed blade knives. This is a new thing, relatively new. And I've highlighted a couple of knives a lot here on this channel. First one I'll mention is the Fisher Blades Beckwith Covert. And here's the knife. It's an awesome everyday defense knife. This is not meant for cutting sandwiches. This is meant for cutting suckers who step to you. I know. I'm very street. But this is the sheath, and it drops deep in the pocket, and you have this extended discrete carry concepts clip. You can see their logo right there, fixed onto the sheath. This does not work well in the waistband because of all of the space between the top of that clip and the top of that sheath. You would be cutting your pants open all day, every day. But what this does is drops in the front pocket. It works great with jeans. It works great with khakis. It doesn't matter. Drops in there and clips to the top seam of your pocket. And then what is left to be seen is just a little bit of that clip and a little bit of that handle. And this one has a back quillion here on the pommel that allows you to easily grab that knife, whether in reverse grip or forward grip. It works really, really great. Now, the first time I saw this concept, it was with this. This is a knife my dad got me after reading the James Reese novels, and it is the Amtac Northman. This is a Bill Rapier design. Bill Rapier, what a great name. Former Navy SEAL, also a great name for a Navy SEAL and a knife designer. But the Northman is a pocket carry fixed blade. Here's the sheath. Again, you see that that deep drop and the DCC style clip firmly attached to the sheath. This just slides into the pocket. You know, I wondered before I got this knife, before my dad very generously got this for me, how you would navigate getting this in the pocket without cutting yourself or cutting the pocket. And really, if you just trace the blade down the clip, just drops right in. So it's very easy to resheath, even though the throat of the sheath is deep inside your pocket. So a very interesting style of knife. This one also has a ferro rod built in and a little Velcro place to stash, I don't know, whatever, $100 bill so you can get out of country or whatever. But this throws a nice spark here with the back of the blade, and there you go. This one is very small, unlike the Beckwith Covert, which fits my hands. And most people's hands, though, I hear that people with the giant mitts are asking for a larger version of this, and they just might get that. This one is damn small, I got to say. Even for my medium-sized hands, I just get on there without coming up onto the blade. It does come in an XL version or a larger version. I opted for the smaller one just for discretion's sake. That's M390 blade steel, by the way. And recently I've been seeing on Instagram that Amtac is offering different handle scales, some really nice looking handle scales to include wood and other materials. But again, you get that quillion on the pommel for easy draw. And I like this knife, especially in the reverse grip, because you have that reinforcement with the thumb there. Last on this list, yes, I showed it to you before, is the VSK1 from Armis Knife and Tool. Again, I'll just show it real quickly. This is the biggest of the three for sure, and I find it really, really comfortable. I do prefer it in the jeans as I do these other two, as opposed to the vertical pockets of khakis and that type of pant. But it goes great in both. And that's primarily due to these discrete carry style clips. You can angle them in such a way that it's not sticking sideways out of your pocket. So another great way to carry a fixed blade knife. I know a lot of people are a little squeamish about carrying fixed blades, especially considering some of the laws in some of your jurisdictions. People don't want to carry them, myself included, just hanging off the belt like you would if you were camping when you're walking around in regular society. So you got to try and figure out a way to integrate fixed blade knives into your daily carry, especially, I got to say, especially if you consider a knife as a defensive tool. which we all know it is. But if you carry for that reason, you might want to figure out how to carry a fixed blade, because in a moment of truth, you're not going to be trying to fuss with it, open it up, and that kind of thing. You just pull it out and you have it ready to go. So what's your favorite way to carry a fixed blade knife? Let me know. Drop those comments down below, and perhaps we will bring it up in a future Knife Junkie podcast. Thanks for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I love talking about these things. And if you like listening, like, comment, subscribe, and share it with a friend. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, TheKnifeJunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at TheKnifeJunkie.com/YouTube. Check out some great knife photos on TheKnifeJunkie.com/Instagram, and join our Facebook group at TheKnifeJunkie.com/Facebook. And if you have a question or comment, email them to bob@TheKnifeJunkie.com or call our 24/7 listener line at 724-466-4487, and you may hear your comment or question answered on an upcoming episode of the Knife Junkie podcast.